everyone, my name is Amanda. If you're new here, welcome, and if not, welcome back. And today, I am doing a special tag video that I saw my friend Jackie from the Reading Wordsmith do. So I'm like, you know what? These questions sound fun. I want to try them out myself. So I will link her down below if you want to check out her version of this video. It sounded kind of fun, and there's only 8 questions. So it's fairly simple. It's to get to know me as a person, not just as a reader. So you get to know more about me and what I like, which I think is kind of fun because then you get to know the person behind the books, you know? Of course, we're always here to talk about books. That's the best part of it. But it's also fun to get to know the person as well. So you get to know more about me and my tastes. So the first question, I will link all these questions down below as well, by the way. So if anyone ever wants to use these for their own videos, feel free to take them. Or Bookstagram, feel free to use it for that. So the first question is, what is your favorite kind of food? And I have lots of different foods that I really like, but my top favorite would have to be sushi. And like for the longest time, I didn't know what sushi even tasted like when I was younger until I tried it one day, and I was addicted ever since. I love raw fish, and I know a lot of people don't, but I do know people that do. So I just happen to really love raw fish for some reason, and I don't know why. However, there is certain types of sushi I can't eat because of my dietary restrictions. For example, I can't have tempura because there's gluten in that, and I can't have anything with cream cheese or anything creamy in it. I can't have dairy. But for the most, I also don't like cucumbers, so I steer away from sushi that has cucumber in it. I know that's a weird thing to not like. But any other sushi, I am all over. I love all kinds of fish. There's like hardly anything that I don't like. I even like octopus. And I remember the first time I tried calamari, I was in, I think it was 7th grade. In my science class, we actually got to make calamari in class, and it was the first time I tried it, and I loved it. So I've loved octopus ever since. I know calamari is fried, then I tried octopus after that, and just really enjoyed it. So I'm pretty adventurous when it comes to seafood. Like, I love lobster, I love crab, all that stuff. Eel, I'll eat that. Tuna, eel, all kinds of stuff. Like, literally, I will eat any seafood. Except by one time I tried flounder and wasn't crazy about it. But maybe it's just the way that was cooked. I don't know. But for the most part, I really, really love raw fish and seafood. Those are like my top stuff. So sushi and like seafood, that's the kind of stuff I gravitate towards the most. But I also really do like Mexican food. Mexican food would probably be my second favorite. At one time, when I was younger, I would tell everybody my favorite food was spaghetti. And I do still like spaghetti. However, I prefer it with, like, seafood in it now. I just really happen to love seafood and sushi. It's like most of the stuff that I gravitate towards the most. And then the second question is, what is your favorite kind of music? So I don't like to pigeonhole myself into one particular genre of music, so I like a wide variety of genres. Like, some of my favorite bands are like Maroon 5, Nickelback, Evanescence, and there was another one. Shoot, what was the other one? I can't remember now. But there's a lot of different music that I like. I like pop music. I love country. I love R&B. There's not much I don't like. The only music that I don't gravitate towards as much is like heavy metal and screamo type music. Unfortunately, that's not quite my style. But anything that has some kind of meaning to it, like, I love music in general, especially when it has like some soul behind it, like something that pulls me in. Like, some of my favorite songs right now would be like Bruises by Louis Capaldi. Louis Capaldi, I could listen to all day, never get tired of. Like, his music just has like that soul behind it, like that meaning that I'm craving. Like stuff like that. And there's just so many different artists that I like. Like Jesse McCartney. I actually get to go see Jesse McCartney at the end of October, and I cannot wait. I've been a huge fan of his since Dream Street, like way back when. So I'm very excited to see him in concert. So that'll be so much fun. And there's just so many different artists that I like. So as long as it has some kind of meaning towards it, I am all over it. And then the third question is, if you were prevented from reading ever again, what would you do? That is a hard question because I do really like to read, but there are other things that I also like. Like for example, I watch a lot of TV. Reality TV is probably my biggest guilty pleasure. I watch so much reality TV. It's insane. I've been watching it since I was like a teenager. If you remember some of like what the reality shows MTV used to have, like way back when, I love some of those reality shows. I also love reality shows from today and from all kinds of different stuff. I think my top favorite right now, though, for reality, I'm kind of obsessed with The Bachelor and Bachelorette. It's always been a guilty pleasure of mine. I have seen every single episode from every single season of that show. It used to be a show that my mom and I used to watch together. Then when I moved out and started living on my own, I kind of lost touch on that. So I had to go back and rewatch the ones that I missed. But it used to be something that my mom and I used to do together. We used to like talk about Bob Guiney all the time. So that was a major guilty pleasure. Still is. But I also watch Bachelor in Paradise. And what other show? I love The Voice. I love Dancing with the Stars right now. There's like just so many. There's probably more that I'm not thinking about that I absolutely love. But I also love other shows that are not reality. For example, one of my favorite all-time shows that I've seen every single season, every single episode of, Law and Order Special Victims Unit. I absolutely love that show. The new season starts this week as I'm filming, and I cannot wait. And I'm so excited that Rollins is back on the show. She is my favorite. And hopefully we'll see a little bit more Stabler coming into the picture as well, because he's been gone from SVU for a long time, but he started doing crossovers recently because of his show with organized crime. I also really like organized crime. However, it's not as good as SVU in my opinion. But there's like so many shows that I watch. So if I wasn't reading, I'd probably be spending a lot more time watching TV. But they say reading is better for you than watching TV. So, but if I were never able to read again, that's basically what I would do: just watch a lot of TV. Oh, and go to Starbucks. That's another guilty pleasure of mine. I love Starbucks. The next question is, what is your favorite city? Well, well, I've been to a lot of different places in my life. I've lived all over Michigan growing up. It wasn't until I turned 21 that I moved to Florida. And Florida is hot, let me tell you. However, Florida's better during the wintertime, for sure. But let me think. My favorite city. That's a hard one for me. However, I do have a lot of memories when I lived in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I had some really great time, a lot of memories from when I lived there. I lived in Ann Arbor, Michigan for like 7 years of my life. And I really loved it there. I had so many friends. And I kind of broke out of my shell during that time. There was a time when, my mom would say the opposite. My mom said when I was a kid, I would run up to every stranger and just talk to them. But there was a time when I kind of withdrew into myself during elementary school. And I wasn't as talkative then. But as I started getting older, I started being more talkative. So I did start having a little bit more friends, just not as many. But yeah, I think it would have to be Ann Arbor, Michigan, because I had so many wonderful memories from that time of my life. And some of the stuff I used to do in high school. Well, high school, I didn't go to high school in Ann Arbor, though. But Chelsea, Michigan is another great city, too. I mean, Chelsea's not far from Ann Arbor. But that's where I went to high school. And I had some great times there, too. Huh. That's a hard one between Ann Arbor and Chelsea. Probably, probably with both of them. Because Chelsea, I had some really great moments in, too. I mean, I did a lot more activities in high school than I did in like elementary school and middle school. But it was an interesting time. We'll put it that way. Next question. What is your favorite alcoholic beverage? Well, I do happen to really love margaritas, especially strawberry margaritas. Those are some of my favorites. I also at one time loved Fireball. Like loved Fireball. However, when I found out there's actually gluten in Fireball, I had to stop drinking it, unfortunately. But I also like strawberry daiquiris. Those are really good too. I know my fiance Ray, he loves daiquiris. He also likes a good rum and coke, but then again, that's him, not me. But I think the ones that I gravitate towards the most is margaritas overall. I just happen to really love margaritas. Now, if you're gonna ask me salt or sugar on the rim, probably salt. Even though I would prefer nothing on the rim, but if I were to do one or the other, it would be salt. Just because it works the best for me. And then this next question is, what is your favorite non-alcoholic beverage? So there was a time I did really well in not drinking soda. I'm back to drinking soda again. I know, not the best thing for me, I know. But I do really like Dr. Pepper. Especially, I started drinking the zero sugar Dr. Pepper, but I recently heard that that's worse for you than regular Dr. Pepper. But I really like those. And then, but another drink that I also really got into, like how many years ago? One couple of years ago, maybe, is these peach teas that I have. It's Georgia peach that is what I normally get. And this is from Lipton. So I happen to really enjoy these as well. These are really, really good. And I used to hate iced tea, like with a passion. I hated iced tea. But these are actually really, really good. So I enjoy these as well. And those are the drinks that I normally gravitate towards to the most. However, I will drink a Sprite on occasion or a lemonade. I like those drinks as well. And then the next question is, what is your favorite time of day? I am very much a night owl. I am usually up to the middle of the night most of the time. I was doing really well with my sleep schedule. Unfortunately, that has changed recently. And I'm not doing so well with my sleep schedule at the moment. However, I also don't mind the afternoons. I'm just not a morning person. I will tell you that. Mornings is not my favorite time of day. I prefer to sleep. If I could, I'd sleep till like most of the day. I know a lot of people would say like that ruins your whole day. I sleeping half of it. And I'm like, yeah, but at the same time, I'm just not a morning person. I don't like getting up in the mornings. At least not early morning. It takes a lot to get me up at the crack of dawn, let me tell you. It's not my favorite thing to do. So yeah. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention about the non-alcoholic drinks. I love Starbucks. So you'll catch me drinking a lot of that on this channel as well. Starbucks is one of my favorite drinks, besides the cheese and the soda. Anyways, favorite time of day. Yeah, so that'd be like the afternoon and evening time for the most part. Then the last question is, what is your favorite season? This was different when I lived in Michigan. When I lived in Michigan, I absolutely loved the spring. Loved it. It was like that time in between being cold and being really warm. It felt, even when it was slightly rainy, it wasn't too bad. Here in Florida, though, that's a totally different story. The spring is usually very, very hot. So here in Florida, I usually prefer the winter months. November, December until like February, March is some of the best times in Florida because it's so much cooler and not so hot. Because the summers in Florida are absolutely brutal, especially when you don't have a working AC. But my building is being worked on for the AC, so hopefully that should be fixed very, very soon. Which I'm so excited to finally have working AC again. And that is all the questions for this tag. I hope you enjoyed getting to know me a little bit more. If you want to see me do another kind of video where you get to know me more, definitely let me know down in the comments. If you agree with any of my statements, feel free to chime on in. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a huge thumbs up. If you want to see more bookish content from me, make sure you smash that subscribe button down below. And before I end this here, if you got this far into the video and you don't know what to share or say, why don't you leave me a question emoji for all these questions? And I will see you all in the next